Hey, good morning, church. This morning we are on day 2 of our advanced devotional, and our text for this morning is from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 18. Let me read that to you. It says this: "For the word of the cross is folly to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God." This verse has always been pretty interesting to me. It says that the word of the cross is folly to those who are perishing. Well, what does that mean? For people who have yet to receive Christ, the cross seems pretty ridiculous. For years, early Christians faced kind of an interesting battle in their own world because in kind of early pagan religions, it seemed like their God, Jesus, was powerless, and they would say, well, look at Zeus or look at Mars or whatever the Roman or Greek gods were of the day, and they would talk about how their God was more powerful, whereas the Christian God was a God who died, and so they saw that as a very foolish and weak perspective on who God was. But the significance of the Christian gospel, as we already know, is that Jesus does indeed die, but he also comes back to life. The whole point is that he dies for our sin, a concept completely foreign and unique, no matter what you hear on YouTube or whatever, to any other religious concepts that were out there, and then that he's resurrected, and the resurrection demonstrating that he has power to overcome death, our death and his death, therefore meaning that there will be a day when not only some sort of pagan god would live forever, but that he gives us the power to also live. And so, whereas other religions would talk about how the gods were in their courts and they would live forever, the Christian religion was distinctly different, because suddenly there was this place where Christians, where humans themselves were given, first of all, a God who would die in their place. There was no longer a wrathful God that would seek to strike them down. This idea of Zeus being up in heaven throwing down lightning bolts, that's now done away with, and instead God has taken the punishment upon himself. That's the great beauty and the great power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Second of all, after that then, is that instead of the gods living forever, it's then that his followers are given the opportunity to live forever with Jesus Christ, even though they first experienced death. So yes, we experience physical death, but then we go on to live with Jesus Christ in heaven forever. This is a radical departure from any other sort of thinking spiritually, particularly within the context that Paul was writing. So anytime that people talk about sort of heaven in a very generic way today, they may not understand that they're drawing actually from Christian ideas, which were very foreign 2,000 years ago. So what we're declaring now is this, is that Jesus Christ has saved us by the cross, and that is powerful. So many people want to believe that they're saved by their good actions, that they're actually pretty great people, or they think that the idea of a God dying for them is unnecessary. They believe that they're good enough on their own. But what the gospel of Jesus Christ is that even though we do deserve to have a God who would throw lightning bolts down at us, and even though we do deserve to have a God that would punish us, God has already taken that punishment on himself in Jesus Christ, and has therefore then defeated death so that we can be ushered into life with him after we die. It's a beautiful truth, and this is the power of God. The power of God is not in punishment. The power of God is not in wrath. The power of God is in his disposition and his choice to provide grace for you, grace for me, grace for anyone who calls upon the name of Jesus Christ. It's a beautiful truth, and I hope that you'll embrace it as we continue on through Advance. This gospel changes everything.